Hello, money queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hello, welcome to Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host here where we talk all things power, prosperity, and the color pink. I just have to say my kids love dancing to the intro to our TV show. It makes me so happy. We make it a big deal Thursday nights when the show comes on. We grab our popcorn, I grab some champagne, and within a few minutes they're on their iPads watching Disney Plus or Spider-Man. Angry Birds seems to be the theme these days. And every once in a while to pick up and look and see what's going on here. But they do love, and my daughter always thinks we're doing TV promos and commercials. She wants to be part of all of it. So thank you all for watching and being here. Thank you to all of our money queens. As we dive into the behind the scenes of what it takes to become that 7-figure woman, who does she have as an advocate? Who's helping them, guiding them, mentoring them? And I think that's the biggest thing that we say at the Women's Wealth Boutique is we're not just wealth advisors, financial planners. We are your wealth advocate. And you need somebody like that. And you need somebody, especially, and this is what today's episode is going to go into, when the D word pops up. So we have an incredible guest. She is one of our fearless advisors at the Women's Wealth Boutique, but it's all about navigating the D word. I myself got into helping women getting through a divorce several years ago. I want to say I've been a certified divorce financial analyst for about 8 years. I saw the need for it for my grandmother, my mom's mom, who she also had 2 TV shows, part of the legacy that we're building out here at Women Behind the Millions. And I remember the first divorce. My mom was 4 years old. And back then, the judge put my mom on the stand and asked her, which parent do you want to live with? You can imagine how horrifying that is for a 4-year-old, my son's almost 4, having to pick between his parents. The pressure, the letdown, the expectations of it. And of course she said, I want to live with both of my parents. What's a 4-year-old child to do? And I talk a lot about my grandmother's divorces in my first book, Strong Woman, Stronger Assets. The second divorce was a doozy, ladies. It was quite a doozy. They were married for 35 years. They got married in Washington, D.C. He was a lawyer in D.C. That's where my grandmother's TV shows were. So she was very much high society there, networking, met this DC lawyer. They got married and they didn't have the traditional relationship. He lived in their house in Maryland, right outside of DC. She lived in the Outer Banks. She also had a house on Water Island, which is an island off of St. Thomas. And then eventually she moved to Amelia Island in Florida. And they would see each other a few times a year, not much at all. But that lasted 35 years. It's incredible because I don't think they really liked each other. They would just argue and bicker when we were around. There definitely wasn't a physical attraction between the two of them. I really don't know how it lasted this long. But I remember one night, and I was in grade school when my grandmother calls up my mom and she goes, and excuse my language, can you believe what this asshole just did? And my grandmother, she had a very feisty, fiery personality. My mom goes, what happened? Well, my grandmother, who was in Florida, gets a call from a hospital in DC saying that her husband just got left here, had a stroke or a heart attack. I forget what exactly happened. And then the nurse asked him, and does he do this often? And my grandmother goes, what do you mean? Well, he's in a pink negligee with pink makeup done, hair done, pink nails, fingernails, toenails, and this woman dropped him off, and they're in a relationship. So my grandmother found out that her husband had been living two lives. One where he was, and this is no judgment here, this is your gym, no judgment at all, but he was a cross-dresser, going to cross-dressing conventions with two mistresses, sometimes all together, and he had quite an extensive wardrobe. He also was paying for an apartment for the one mistress, bought the other one a Mercedes car, like $5,000 handbags, insane. And to me, what blew my mind as a little girl hearing all of these events unfolding was, wow, he used to try to cheat us playing poker. That's how cheap he was with his, I guess, step-grandchildren. Cheat 4 and 6-year-olds playing poker. My dad was playing with us and could see very clearly he was cheating. So they both lawyered up. He flew like 5 attorneys down to Florida to fight it. He put my grandmother's properties into his name. And he also took out mortgages against the properties. So he did a lot of sabotaging to her assets, not even marital assets, her assets, a lot of forgery, illegal things happening. They finally got divorced after a very long battle, a costly battle. So this is why I was so thrilled to bring on into the Women's Wealth Boutique. She's been with us almost a year, our divorce source, Donna Cates, because she specializes and focuses on women going through divorce. And I saw what happened to my grandmother. I saw what happened to my aunts, family members. Everybody who's watching this knows at least, I would say, a handful of people who've gone through a divorce, and a messy one on top of that. It's so important, ladies, whether you're in a good marriage, you're not even in a relationship yet, to know what's going on with your money. So with that, I do want to start, and I'm going to bring Donna on for this prayer piece. We usually start with a prayer or a mantra. I'm going to bring Donna on stage with us. Donna Cates, the divorce source at the Women's Wealth Boutique. Thank you, Donna, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Donna Cates, she's a dedicated financial advisor, certified divorce financial analyst with a mission to empower women in their financial journeys. With over 2 decades, ladies, of expertise, she specializes in helping women navigate complex financial challenges, including investing, wealth management, divorce settlements, and rebuilding after a loss. Donna's passion lies in leveling the playing field for women by providing personalized guidance, strategic planning to ensure they achieve their goals and dreams. Donna, I am so grateful to have somebody who's so empowering onto Women Behind the Millions. The work you do is incredible. And I want to know, will you do a prayer with us right now to everybody listening, watching our show tonight for it?
Absolutely.
This came through, felt very passionate about this prayer in particular. Sometimes we do a mantra, but this felt very right for the work that we're going to go into tonight. All right, here it is, ladies. Dear God, please help me to forgive my mistakes of the past. Please help me to forgive those who denied me my good. Please show me the innocence inside us all. I'm willing to see that only love is real, but the pain of circumstance holds a grip on my heart. Please flood my mind with divine perception that I might see through the veil of illusion and be free to begin again. Thank you, God. Amen. There is something about the pain of circumstance that really hit in on me when I think about women going through a divorce and trying to keep the household together, the kids together, their emotions together, and they do feel very stuck in a painful situation, and a lot of times for an extended period of time, longer than they ever thought they were going to have to be in it for. Donna, what got you into this divorce work to begin with? I'd love to hear your story here.
Well, I've been working as a financial advisor for 23 years now. And in the early stages of my career, I had gotten the Certified Divorce Financial Analyst designation and was putting myself out there to attorneys as somebody that could help women navigate all of the financial pieces of their divorce. But attorneys weren't really accepting of that help at that point. But what happened is that women were being referred to me to help them manage their investments or whatever they got from the results of the divorce decree after the fact. And I, as the third party outsider to that situation, was seeing so many things that had not been addressed from a financial perspective in that client's divorce process. That's when I said, ooh, I've got to step up to the plate and really educate these attorneys on how someone with our skill set can really be an asset to their client's team.
Wow. Amazing, Donna. You've been doing this work. I'd say you were on the forefront of the divorce work for advisors, for us to get into the picture and helping women. Should women come to you before they meet with the divorce attorney or mediator? Before, during, after? What's the best course of action for women?
I will tell you, I'm happy to work with anybody at any stage. However, I can make the most impact if they meet with me first. And I will tell you, with all of I've worked over 100 plus divorce cases, and every attorney that has somebody that is already working with me come to them, they know that they've sat down with a CDFA because they come to that initial meeting so much more knowledgeable about their financial situation and better prepared to start the process. So in an ideal world, you would know, before the D word is even said, hey, let's meet with this certified divorce financial analyst and get our heads around the money stuff so that we're going into this making informed decisions. That's not always the case. Sometimes we're the ones that are, serve the papers and we're caught by surprise. But so at any point, it's appropriate to bring in that certified divorce financial analyst.
Yes, we began this episode with being advocates, and that's what I feel you are for the women that you work with. You can't put a price on feeling financially educated and empowered going into the court and going into a mediation session, especially when the man's had the upper hand with the finances, whether they were controlling it, they've been the one earning the money. Financial abuse relationships, we've seen a lot happen. Okay, let's go into financial abuse. What are some different ways you've seen financial abuse come out during these divorce proceedings?
It really amazes me at the number of relationships where the female often has no access to money. She's actually given a check every week, and that's what she's allowed to spend, whether it's for herself or the family. It's a designated amount, and that's what she has to live off of. The other thing that a lot of women don't realize they're being subjected to is just not being included in the financial conversation. Women oftentimes have no clue whether there's life insurance policies in place, whether or not their husband is saving for retirement. And we just don't know. And we allow that. So we sit back and say, well, he's got a handle on it. And then when life does happen, and it will, we either divorce or we outlive men, we find ourselves in this place of, oh my God, I've been controlled all of this time and I had no idea.
Just the fear, the overwhelm, the pressure of now your portion of the money is coming to you. What do I do with this money? How do I make sure I'm not blowing it or protecting it, using for the kids, not overspending, underspending, balancing it all? Again, carrying on with the advocate theme here tonight, Donna, I view, and this is why we have the show Women Behind the Millions, that there's a team supporting women who have 7, 8, 9, 10 plus figures, right? It's not just them managing it all. The same could be said for somebody going through a divorce. Who are the team members women should have in their back pocket that they can rely on during this time, but they shouldn't be going through this all alone?
Absolutely. And we talk about this every month in my divorce workshop. It does take a team. It's just like we say, raising a family takes a village. There's no difference. But ideally, when someone is divorcing, they're going to have somebody on their team that's providing emotional support, whether that's a licensed counselor, a minister, maybe even a divorce coach. That is pivotal because we are wrapped up in our emotions and we have to process stuff. The second person is going to be that divorce attorney. And I know this isn't something that's available to everybody throughout the US, but if you can hire someone that specializes in divorce work, that's the key, is having somebody that focuses on divorce only and they know the judges in your community. That's really important. Having a financial professional like myself that can help you navigate and understand all of the financial implications of the divorce process, and not only how everything's going to be divided during the divorce, but what that financial impact is going to be for you post-divorce and long term. And then other professionals, because we all need them, we may need a mortgage broker to help us figure out how we're going to get the house refinanced in our name. We might need a realtor if we're looking to sell the house or buy a new home because we're leaving our home. We may need a new CPA. It's not likely that you're going to stay with the same CPA that your ex-spouse is using. And that's what I love, is being the connector in my world, is that we literally build a community of these types of professionals that can help you regardless of what your need is.
You have an entire directory.
I do.
You got the team members, the list. You've done the due diligence. You know they do good work, that they have the right energy to work with your clients. They're going to lead with their heart, very similar to you. And I've met some of these people. I've seen them you've been interviewed with them on your second Saturday workshops as well for it. Ladies, Donna knows what she's talking about. Trust me. And actually, we're going to go into a few trivia questions if you're up to it, Donna.
Absolutely.
Let's show it. All right. So a little trivia. Usually we start with this, and I blew past that. I was so excited to get you on. All right. We have just a few. The first one is true or false. True or false, Donna? Your inheritance is considered a separate asset that is not subject to equitable distribution in a divorce.
Great question. And I hear it all of the time. It can be complicated. You have an inheritance. If it has not been commingled and used for the benefit of the family, it is still considered a separate asset. However, the minute any of the money or the house or whatever that you have inherited has been used for the benefit of the family, it would be considered commingled. Now, something to keep in mind is that does not mean that you might not end up getting to keep that asset, but you would be negotiating giving up something else, most likely.
Okay, very interesting. Good to know. Whenever you are receiving an inheritance or a gift, ladies, speak with a certified divorce financial analyst. Speak with Donna so you know how to keep it separate from the marital assets, especially if you know you're on that pathway to divorce. All right, great answer, Donna. Thank you for explaining that. All right, this is multiple choice now. What monetary amount of alimony is taxable? A, payments over $20,000 per year. B, payments over $30,000 per year. C, alimony is tax deductible to the person receiving the payments. Or D, the person receiving alimony does not have to report alimony as taxable income.
Okay, so if you had asked this question about 4 years ago, it would be totally different. But today, answer is going to be D. The alimony payment is not deductible to the person that's paying the alimony, nor does the person that's receiving the alimony have to pay taxes on it. So that was a big shift in the divorce law just about 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow. I remember there was an attorney that worked below us, and we would hear, she's like, every single time, every single year, her husband had an ex-spouse, and he reported a certain amount of alimony that he paid her, and she reported a different amount. And then they would get drawn into this long process with the IRS to fix and make sure that both amounts were matched. And I'm guessing that's why they changed the law It was that extra work to make sure that the amounts were the same on two different tax returns for it. Much easier for the IRS perspective to just make the payor of the alimony already pay tax on the money.
Well, and think about this as well. If you're getting $5,000 a month in alimony, but you're having to pay taxes on it, you're not really getting $5,000 a month. You got to subtract out those taxes. Then on the other side, the person that's paying the alimony is not really paying you $5,000 a month because they're getting the tax credit. So, changing that law really did level the playing field.
Sure. And I'm guessing, did the formulas change on what alimony to expect because of that? Now it's a completely different amount.
I don't think that that's actually impacted alimony. The drivers for whether or not there's alimony payment is typically a disparity in the income. So if you've got someone that's a major breadwinner versus a stay-at-home mom, the length of the marriage makes a difference. So the longer you've been married, the more likely you are to receive alimony. But a big thing to keep in mind is that even though you may need alimony and can prove the need for that alimony, the ex-spouse has to have the ability to pay alimony. So understanding your living expenses and his living expenses is really crucial as part of that divorce process.
Oh, sure. Sure. Very good. Very good, Donna. All right, last question. Another true or false? You are eligible to receive 1/2 of your ex-spouse's Social Security retirement benefit. True or false?
It is true. Now, there are some rules around that. If you first, you have to have been married at least 10 years. 9 years and 9 months, you don't qualify. 10 years, that's the magic date. So if you've been married at least 10 years, now when you reach Social Security age, you actually have a choice. You can choose to draw on your Social Security income, or you can elect to file against your ex-spouse's income if half of his is greater than your full amount. So that's one of the really important things to look at is when you are post-divorce, is working with somebody that knows the Social Security rules to help you make an informed decision when you do elect to start drawing Social Security income. And I'll share this too. I think it's probably a part of why Social Security might be going broke. I mean, there's a number of reasons, but if you think about it, if you've only had to been married 10 years and you've got somebody that's been married 3 times, but married, 10 years each time, now there's probably 3 people that are drawing against his Social Security, and he still gets 100% of it. So, but that's another presentation.
We need a whole nother episode for that. But Donna, then if he passes away, do they all receive the full amount?
100% of the widow's benefit. That's exactly what they would get. Now, remember, they can't have remarried, and now they also say you can't cohabitate. So you gotta qualify by meeting those parameters. But yes, they go from half of the Social Security benefit to the full Social Security benefit upon death.
Wow. Amazing. I remember hearing, was it Johnny Carson? I think he was married 4 times. Each marriage was about 10 years. So that example, it's true. Now you have 5 people claiming on one benefit. And then when he passed away, they all were eligible for the full amount, that full benefit. So ladies, you could be leaving money on the table by not knowing these little pieces. And Social Security, it's complicated. Medicare, all that can be very complicated. But get informed, get educated, work with Donna. Let's just say it. Work with Donna here. Now, this brings up so many questions, and some that I've heard before in the past. I'm going to shoot them your way, Donna, if that's cool with you.
Absolutely.
Can I qualify for a mortgage if I'm receiving alimony but not working?
You can possibly qualify. There's a number of factors that play in this as well. Number one, the mortgage company is going to want to have seen that alimony income hit your bank account for at least 12 months.
12
There
months.
are a couple of companies out there that might offer that to you after 6 months if you have substantial assets that aren't tied up in real estate or retirement accounts. But the rule is 12 months of proven income. So what that means is that, you may decide, hey, I'm going to go get a new house, or I'm going to get this house refinanced into my name post-divorce. It's not something that's going to happen over a 2 or 3 month period. So that has to be built into the divorce decree and the agreement on what your next step is on getting that mortgage.
Wow. Interesting. 12 months, ladies. Keep that in mind. 12 months. Another question we hear a lot: can I keep the marital house? Is this in the lady's best interest, financial interest, to keep and maintain the marital house after divorce?
There are so many moving pieces to that one decision, and I have horror stories that I can share with you on women that made the decision from an emotional perspective on keeping the house. That it's very enlightening. But there are a couple of things to consider. A lot of women, especially women with younger children, they want to keep the kids in the same house. They just don't want to upset the apple cart any more than they have to. But the question is, number one, can she afford the maintenance of the house? We may say, ooh, I can afford the mortgage, but we may not even know if we can qualify to get the mortgage in our name. You have to have decent credit. You have to have income that will support the mortgage. So there's that question. Then also the thing that most people overlook is not just the mortgage, but the day-to-day cost of maintaining a home. That in itself may prohibit you from having the cash flow to keep a home. So, and then if you're going to keep the home, that also means that you've got to buy out your partner. So if there's $100,000 in equity in the home that you're choosing to keep, and he owns half of that, that means you have to get an additional $50,000 through a mortgage or something other than marital assets to buy out his share. So there's a lot of pieces to go through, and that's why we do the workshops that we do, so we can really delve into the details of it. And it depends on your circumstances. What your neighbors do may or may not be what's appropriate for you, and that's important to remember.
Very good point. And do you even want the upkeep of the house? It might be too big, or the yard's too large. If that's not your forte, you don't have to force it. How about in this environment, we have very high housing prices and high mortgage interest rates? What can people do with this house if they can't afford to buy another one, or even rent is too expensive? What are some options? This is why I love you're also a mediator. And so mediation, you can come up with very creative solutions, or even if it's temporary solutions, to get through these trying times. What are some innovative things about keeping the marital house, or what to do with it?
Well, and you're spot on, because everything can be negotiated. A lot of people don't realize, they say, oh, the judge is going to decide. But when you're divorcing, you are negotiating with your spouse. You're using attorneys to do that, or as Jessica just mentioned, maybe working with a mediator. But in any event, you are able to negotiate. So that's the thing. I call it pulling up your big girl britches and understanding how to have good conversation and negotiate the best outcome for you. But some things that you might consider with the house situation is that, yes, right now, a lot of people are opting into renting versus buying a new home. So they don't have any problem selling the marital home and then dividing the assets, but they rarely have enough to buy a new home outright from those proceeds from selling their home. And the mortgage rates are 7% and better. So it just doesn't make sense at this time for a lot of people to actually go out and buy a new home and have that expensive debt. But again, it depends. It can be as costly to rent as it is to have a mortgage. However, you don't have to have the mortgage payment and qualify for that mortgage in order to rent. So again, a lot of things can be negotiated. I'm working with a couple right now. They both want to keep the home, and it is not feasible at all for her to keep the home. So what I'm doing as the mediator in this case is showing them what it would look like if they were to both sell and then take those proceeds and do something different, even if they end up waiting another 2 or 3 years before they buy that new home post-divorce. But I'm able to show them what the financial impact would be, both keeping the house and buying the other out, or them selling it today and dividing the assets.
Wow. Oh, very good. Very good. I love thinking of these different innovative solutions, negotiating it. I think as women, we tend to shy away from confrontation. So the thought of doing that can be overwhelming, but it does not have to be, at least at all. There's so much I want to talk to you about. There's 2 more pieces that I want to get into with your interview today. And let's touch on one. You are at the forefront of financial education for women going through a divorce. We'll talk about that in a second. But thinking about what's happening with marriages and second marriages, what are some things women need to be aware of when they're going into a second marriage and they have assets from the prior marriage or from their career? They have children as well. What are some things that they should be thinking before they're even married or during that time frame of the marriage as well?
Prenup. It's not sexy, but I think it's essential, especially when there are children involved.
Yes.
I had a case a few years ago when a couple got together. It was both of them second marriage, and they each had 3 kids, so it was like the Brady Bunch. But the husband died prematurely. So this was her second marriage and his second marriage. He intended his children to be beneficiaries on a lot of the property, with the wife getting assets as well. But because they didn't have the will in place yet, which is another mistake, everything went to the wife. Now the wife is in a position where, she has to make a choice. I can do the right thing because I know that he wanted these assets to go to his children, and she can bequeath those to them, get those into their hands, or she can say, no, this is my money now, and make totally different decisions. So if you have a prenup in place, it's actually going to prevent any of that from happening. And it's just literally, it's a conversation that I think any couple, regardless of whether they're 20, 60, or 80 years old, if they're getting married, they need to have these financial conversations before they say, I do.
You're right. And we don't like to talk about, there's a legal component to any kind of relationship. There is a legal agreement, even the marriage certificate, right? That is a legal document stating it. So having a prenup, a legal document, the estate documents, which we've been talking a lot about at the Women's Wealth Boutique, your wills, power of attorneys, living wills. That's my mom's father passed away without a will, and he was remarried and had another child through that marriage, and my mom and her brothers got nothing. And it was like her grandparents' antique sword collection, gun collection, antique cars, these very precious things. So the legal documents, prenup, estate documents, a trust, a lot of these can get rid of those arguments, conflicts, and be very preventative to those fires down the road as well. Thank you, Donna, for sharing that. Prenups. And it's not a faux pas anymore. People are getting married later in life. They're having assets, or it's a remarriage. It's just there to prevent fires from happening. Let's be honest, ladies.
That's true. That's accurate. Mm-hmm.
And Donna, as we were rounding out your interview today on Women Behind the Millions, which has been fascinating. I know I've thrown a lot of questions at you, but I'm curious. I know our viewers are curious about these pieces, whether they're in a relationship, post-divorce, during a divorce, or their best friends going through something. So thank you for sharing all of your knowledge, your journey through this work as well. All the ways you help women, whether it's being their advisor, their advocate, the mediator, coming in just the education with your workshops every month. You also are adding in another piece. You are one of our financial trendsetters in our book, Financial Trendsetters, coming February of 2024. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little taste of what your chapter is about?
Ooh, I'd be honored to. So it's not sexy. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's the elephant in the room. So my chapter is going to focus on helping you understand all of the financial aspects of your household so that you are empowered to make smart decisions as you're navigating that divorce process. And in the very first chapter, I believe, in the first paragraph, I say to everybody, read this, whether you're happily married, not married, don't think you'll ever be married, because it will impact you at some point. If it's not you directly, it'll be somebody that you know, so you can share the knowledge. But I encourage everybody to read it, because we talk about how to make informed decisions so that you can avoid those crucial mistakes that can't be undone. Post-divorce, it's too late. So I think it will be worth everybody's time to take a look at it.
Oh, yes. And she has such amazing examples, roadblocks, right? These things, red flags to avoid the common mistakes. That empowerment is huge. Thank you, Donna, so much for diving into the D word today. And I think we have your new tagline. It's not sexy. It is a D word, but it's not sexy D word. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and stay with us, ladies, because after this, Donna's going to share her hot money tip. And if you don't know, right, she knows what she's talking about. She is the expert on divorce. She's going to share her financial trends. We're going to end with a meditation on becoming that empowered person in a relationship, as well, claiming your voice, which is huge, whether you're going through a divorce, you're starting a new relationship, claiming your power, claiming your voice in that one as well. So stay with us, Money Queens. We'll be right back.
Women are born connectors. Yes, we love to talk. We are comfortable crying around each other. But this is also what makes us real. We embrace being vulnerable with one another, and this dismantles that wall, the barrier that separates us from our clients. We aren't intimidating, we are real and honest. We aren't here to judge you, we are here to guide you. Women seeking their own healing from the traumas of life. We focus on personal growth, because if we grow, everyone around us will grow. That's how it works with women. That's how it works at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We bring everyone up with us. I'm grateful for the men in our lives to embrace this quality in us, who are comfortable in their own skin, to take a step back so we can shine. I'm so thankful for the blessing of my own husband, who lets my pink light shine all over. We work with and support all women in the financial industry at the Women's Wealth Boutique, female advisors, professionals, investors, and clients. Our mission is to guide women to invest their money where their heart is, whether that is in themselves, specialty investments, real estate, their own business, to help women spend where it feels good to them, not to anyone else, and to be who they are meant to be at the Women's Wealth Boutique.
Join us for our Financial Trendsetters Gala May 2nd here in New Jersey as we raise money for a scholarship. For tickets, head to jessicaweaver.com. All right. And if you're curious about joining the Women's Wealth Boutique, whether a client or an advisor, stay till the end. There's a QR code where you can get involved in our world, our community, our events, education, all of that good stuff. All right, Donna, are you ready? It is time for your hot money tip. I can't wait to hear your hot money tip today. If you don't mind sharing with us what you got for it.
Okay, so this one's huge. We as women often take care of everybody else first. We put ourselves last, especially mamas. That's just the way it goes. We got to take care of everybody. So my money tip is to always pay yourself first. When you get a paycheck, or that check that your husband gave to you to spend for that week, whatever the resource is, take a percentage or a dollar amount from that, set it aside. You could put it in a retirement account. You can put it in an investment account. It could be in a money market account, whatever your choice is. Put it aside before you go and pay everything else. Because if you do that, now you're building something that is uniquely yours in your name that you can control, and you are taking care of yourself in a way that nobody else can do. So I think that's really, really important.
Yes. And that to me feels the first step to that financial security that
Right.
women are seeking so much going through divorce. And what's right past security is freedom. That freedom to be able to work on your own terms, take time off, have the flexibility, have the freedom to go after what you truly want to go after. And working with Donna, you'll know exactly what kind of account to put that dollar into, what kind of investment vehicle as well that's going to fit where you are right now, but especially where you want to go, which is huge. So pay yourself first. We hear it, we don't do it. It's, what do they call it, right? It's simple, but not always easy. Even if it starts with $1, just start that habit, start that new behavior, which is huge. Thank you, Donna, for sharing that hot money tip. Pay yourself first, ladies. Open up a separate account and get the money dripping into it. And you'll be amazed what comes out of it, how much it starts to grow, and start having fun with money. We take money so seriously. Start having a little bit more fun with money. It can be sexy. It can be fun. It can be like a game. Let's embrace that as well. All right, Donna. So part of our Financial Trendsetters books, every one of our co-authors is putting out a financial trend that they are seeing with women. It's kind of like a fashion trend, but it's coming up with their money. So Donna, are you ready to share your financial trend with us that you are picking up, whether it's with divorce, women, money, any or all of it?
Absolutely. I'm really, really excited to see the fact that more women are owning up to the fact that they might need and benefit from having help from a financial advisor. So in the past, I always felt that women were kind of sticking their head in the sand about their money. But now I have more women that are approaching me and saying, I need to get smart about this. I need to understand how things work. Yeah, I don't need to be smart enough to do your job, but I do want to know how to make smart decisions about my own money for my benefit and my family. So I'm hoping that that's a trend that continues and that women aren't just taking a back seat to the money conversations, and that we'll continue to see women become more financially knowledgeable, which is going to impact everybody throughout the world.
Yes, I love this trend. What do you see happening with this trend? If it sticks and it's staying, and hopefully it does, in 10, 20 years from now, what do you think that's going to mean for women and their money or wealth?
I think it's going to be pivotal, but because women aren't going to be afraid of whatever life throws their way. They're going to know that they are empowered, they're knowledgeable, they can make decisions without having anybody else's approval or blessing. So I think it's going to make a difference in the way we raise our children.
Yes.
It's definitely going to make a difference in how we spend our money out in the world. It's going to be life-changing.
Life-changing. I can see that. Yes, there's been a huge gap in our financial education as women. It's been a generational thing, right?
Right.
Money being a faux pas to talk about, taboo, keeping it tight-lipped. But as women are getting more educated, and now we're starting to have conversations around it. And before it felt women waited to get educated until the divorce happened, or
Right.
the spouse passed away, or a parent passed away. And now they're dealing with all sorts of financial issues, or they're receiving lump sums of money and they don't know what to do with it. And both can be very scary for them.
Mm-hmm.
So being educated and aware before that even happens, as you said, that is a huge pivot for women when it comes to wealth. And I just see women being more eager to ask for that raise, ask for that promotion, to not settle, whether it's in a divorce or at their job, not settling anymore, but really striving and achieving more and building this wealth. I also see wealth kind of changing what women are after, not necessarily being always more and more money, but different kind of assets, right? Whether it's real estate or business assets, redefining that term wealth that makes it more in alignment with who they are and what they're looking to achieve. wealth could be just freedom, freedom from the job.
Right.
Well,
And I think that was the one shift for me, is that so many women think money is being greedy, but money empowers us to make a change, to impact things.
ooh, that's beautiful, Donna. Beautiful way. I'm going to ask you one more question. Donna Cates, our divorce source, what makes you a woman behind the millions?
Okay, two things that I would say to that. Number one, I do what I preach. So I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. So my husband and I have been very judicious savers, and we can, claim that millionaire status. And it's been hard work, but we're there. The second thing is, I'm truly passionate about empowering women to make smart decisions about their money, because a man is not a financial plan, and we don't need to rely on anybody but ourselves to take care of ourselves. And that's what I stand behind.
Oh, I love it, Donna. Donna, thank you so much for spending time with us here on Women Behind the Millions. Here is her QR code. Jump on there. You can get her bio. You can hear other podcast episodes with Donna. Get involved in her world, ladies. Send women her way, because no matter what, the financial education is only going to help them, get them a leg up, empower them, educate them. It's going to be huge in changing this conversation about divorce, the D word, especially for women. Thank you so much, Donna. You are welcome to stay with us. We're going to go into a meditation about claiming your power and voice in a relationship. So, perfect way to end this talk about divorce, money, relationships is, first, it starts with the internal work, doesn't it? And that's what we know, ladies. It's the internal wealth that affects and really navigates our external wealth and that movement, that flow. So everyone here, I encourage you, take that sip of wine, get comfortable wherever you are seated, have the kids go into the other room, or they're watching their tablets like my kids. They don't even know what's going on here. And get comfortable. Get comfortable, sit down, and we're going to go into a little meditation here. And while we do so, you'll see our Lyft QR code. If you're interested in getting more meditations, this is your 10-week journey into Lyft, a meditation for every week with a prayer and a journal exercise. So close your eyes, get comfortable, and as you breathe in, picture this light coming into your body. And as you breathe out, all that weighs you down, just leave your body. All the fears, all the unknowns, all the stress. Breathe in that light and breathe out all that negativity. And as you continue to breathe, you see this light growing bigger and brighter and stronger. And you can see this light extending beyond you to touch all the people that you love, all the people that you work with, and actually extends through your entire day on this path that you are moving on. And you see this light, you know that it has blessed every encounter you will make today, tomorrow, all through the week, the month, the year. And as you step on that path, this light that is just exuding from you, you begin your new journey. And I want you to know that on this journey that you are safe, you are loved, you are connected to the divine, God, the universe, and you feel yourself standing up straighter. You feel yourself more secure and safe and protected. That this light is this force field around you to protect you. And with that, you feel the courage to ask for what you truly want. And you ask for this without feeling the need to justify it or validate it or defend yourself. You just ask for it. And take a minute to let yourself talk and ask, what is it that you have been trying to ask for? What is it that you've been calling in? Give yourself space to listen to it. And may it become very clear to you what you have been needing, wanting in your life, but you didn't feel worthy enough to ask for it. And then after this, take a moment and write down all the ways that you will get it, all the steps, the journey to acquiring this desire, this deep desire in yourself. And know that you have all the answers within you. You have the guidance there. And I'm here to support you in that journey. You are so loved. You are so worthy. You are worthy of all the desires in the world. You are worthy of everything that you want and are calling in. You, my dear, our money queen, are so worthy. And breathe all of that in, all that goodness. Take note of how it feels in your body. And know that there's a breakthrough that's about to come to you within this minute, within this day, by the time you wake up. And I'm so grateful for all of you ladies listening, watching Women Behind the Millions, for supporting us here as we get more financial education and empowerment out there to you as we talk power, prosperity, and the color pink. And thank you, Donna, again for being here with us today on Women Behind the Millions. We'll see everyone on our next episode. Much love to you, ladies. Hey, money queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.